Hey, it's Seth here again. I figure I'll make another video. Why not, since I got my camera out and I'm feeling a little talkative. One of my last videos I did, which was on the, was it the naughtiest thing I've done, or the worst thing I've done, or my worst sin, or something like that. Some people wrote back wondering if I still believed in God. I felt like it was an inappropriate question, especially in response to the video, which was what I was trying to get across was it's not really about whether you believe in God or not. It's about how you treat others. And that my worst sin in life has been shoving my religion onto others, which it's like shoving your religion on others is making it a high priority to believe in God or not. Like, whether somebody believes in God or whether they don't, they're not no less of a person than if they do or if they don't. Do I believe in God or not? I stated it in the video. If you didn't pick up on that, then you're not a very observant person. I said at the end, I said that I had perverted the grace of God. Hence, I believe in God. But it doesn't really matter if I believe in God or not, which is clearly stating that I'm a universalist. I don't feel like I've let go of Christian beliefs, certain Christian beliefs, we'll say that, but I have been studying more like a Buddhist philosophies, and they really stick out to me, practicing yoga and meditation. I've had quite a transition this year, and not just gender-wise. We'll say the last close to 3 years. It's ever since I did that year of exploring myself before I decided to transition. A lot of my, there was a shift in a lot of my beliefs. Like it was a little less than like 3 years ago that I still believed in. I believe in hell. I believe that if you didn't accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, that you're going to hell. So I lived my life thinking that like Joe Blow over there that doesn't believe in God, if he doesn't accept Jesus into his heart, that he was going to go to hell. And that, like, it really tormented me. It tormented me ever since I became a born-again Christian when I was 14 years old. Like, I would have nightmares about, like, hell, about people, like, burning and like, fire and, like, screaming and, like, why didn't you tell me? Stuff like that. It was horrible. But it's pretty interesting, as there was a shift in my gender, there was also a shift in like, my spirituality to be more free. And believing in hell is not free. If you believe in hell, I want to tell you that you're in bondage and you do not even know. You do not know how much you really even resent God. How can you fully love a creator who allows a hell to send people to? How? You can't. You have this hidden resentment. How do I know? Because, like I said, like, I was there for, I was 14 when I got born again, so that's like 18 years? 17 years? I lived in that belief of hell. And, it's important that we live at peace with each other, you know, whether you believe in God or whether you don't, like, come together and just love each other, because there's just so much separation in the world due to religion. Hence, you guys have seen my videos about my parents and how They didn't want to have me in their life. After the divorce, I wrote my mom and I told her it was stupid. We needed to be friends, and how I needed her. And I didn't care if she called me Stephanie or she used female pronouns. I'm not here to try to make a point. I want her in my life. I know that's pretty, like, debatable topic, but when you've been in the fundamental mindset, you can kind of understand. Like, to her, it's just she just can't be open. It's her convictions. To her, it's like she's sinning against God if she calls me Seth. And even though I think it's ridiculous and stupid, you can't just it's hard to change people's mindsets. Like, it wasn't like for 17 years, like, I just wanted to believe in hell. That's her new doggy toy. Could you please not play with that right now? Can you give it to me? I'm trying to make a video. Mr. Bubbles. I'm trying to make a video. You want to play with Mr. Bubbles right now? And I just totally lost track. I'm trying to talk about hell and God and serious things, and she wants to play with Mr. Bubbles. I knew this was going to drive me nuts. You don't have to put this up here for now, okay? Why don't you go get in your spot? So as I transitioned, as I was working through, like, receiving Seth, there was lots of shifts in me spiritually. There was a lot of healing that needed to be taking place that I wasn't even aware of. That I felt really rejected by the church, which affected, like, every area of my life. You feel like you can't be a part of the community that you want to be a part of. It really affects you. After top surgery, that's when I really started getting a lot freer. And I did a lot of research on churches. You can even see, like, one of my videos I did, I talked about it. I talked about, I'm not sure what it's called. There's not very many views on it, though. Something about if church is a good idea, if it's bad or not. For like 8 years, I didn't believe in organized religion. So I did lots of research about churches and stuff like that, and I came across this church in Madrona area of Seattle, and it's called Liberation. And the pastor is he's a black gay, married man to another black guy, and they come from, like, black Pentecostal church background. It's kind of the kind of church you go into and you're gonna hear, like, singing and shouting and dancing and can I get an amen and just all that vibrance that you would get in, like, a traditional black church. And so that was like, oh, I like that church, from what I saw on the internet. So I went and I checked it out, and I was so nervous the first time I went. I was like, I told myself I was just going to go and sit in the back of the church and not say hi to anybody. That didn't happen. I went and it was kind of a small church, and one of the people in the worship team, she noticed me and she pointed me out and she ran up and she gave me a hug. And it was kind of that kind of church where everybody hugs each other and there's just all this love. And all that love in that church, it definitely overwhelmed me. because in my church experience in the past, there wasn't. Like, wow. It was like being a part of the same church for like 5, 6 years, and like I still didn't know certain people. But this church, I've been here like 5, 6 months, and it's like I know everybody. And people just, they're warm and they're open and they're friendly, and everybody hugs, and it's this church is like it's the best of church family, like black family, and queer family. You know how like each of those communities, like family is an important part. Well, this is like a community, it's like a mixture of all of that, and it's just like I never heard of church as like a family, and that's probably definitely why I'm drawn to it. It's just a family atmosphere. At the same time, sometimes I'm a little weary because I have been so hurt, and so lots of religious trauma. But I spent 8 years not going to church, and I didn't realize how, like for me, my healing had to take place with a pastor who had the same Pentecostal background as me, putting his arm around me and telling me he loves me and that I'm worthy and I'm good just the way I am. That for me, that was the healing I needed. It's really was tough to figure that out because I had a lot of atheists come and tell me that I would never be happy if I believed in God. It's pretty hard telling somebody to not believe in God or to give up their faith when it's been a big part of their life for close to 20 years. And I'll just admit, like, I could be wrong. I mean, I've given up the whole thing, like, I'm right and you're wrong, and I don't really see the world that way anymore. Like, so Joel Osteen said that he was asked, does he believe that Jesus is the only way? And he said, yes, he believes that Jesus is the only way, but he believes that there's many ways that can be accomplished. So I kind of believe that. I believe that, like, there's so many different ways we can experience God and Jesus in this world, and it's not always through my little Christian understanding of it. I experienced a lot of God through a lot of atheists, and experienced a lot of God and a lot of people I never expected. And I've experienced a lot of lack of God and people that I expected to find God in. And I've come to the realization that I don't always know what's best. Especially when it comes to like how other people are supposed to live their life, and it's taken me a long time to come to this conclusion. So, for me, my healing had to come through an affirming church. But it also came through like Buddhist teaching. I have run across some Buddhists and some people who identify more in that realm, Buddhism. And I just thought they were just amazing. I think what struck me was that they were practicing a spirituality that I was practicing, but in like a non-Christian way. Like getting quiet and listening to yourself. And I just got quiet and listened to God. And I think it's the whole idea of quieting yourself and listening on the inside. Clearing out the clutter in your mind yeah, being free of the mind. That's what I like of the whole Buddhism teaching, and with yoga and meditation, is getting that focus in the mind and clearing it and learning how to focus and be quiet. I think that's just really cool. And I was longing for that, and I wasn't really having anybody teach me in Christian church. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and um, so there was healing that came through that avenue too. Um, Sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit of a rainbow with like belief wise. Like I can identify with different beliefs, but I still hold a certain spot in my heart for like the Pentecostal Christian gospel type background. Um, I don't feel like I have to just be one. I I don't read the Bible anymore. I view it like a weapon. I think in regards like I think that men wrote it, that sometimes they were inspired by God, but I think that a lot of it has been used to abuse a lot of people. It's been used to abuse me, and I probably used it to abuse others and myself. Mr. Bubbles, you totally distracted me. Why did you have to do that, Jazz? I lost track of what I was talking about. Alright, I'm back somewhat. She's looking at me like she wants me to give her Mr. Bubbles back.